Well, guys, I am back with another video. Finally got into it. I watched the first film in the Hobbit trilogy, Unexpected Journey, that released around 2012. Now, these are more mixed upon fans compared to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And what is this one? It's alright. It's an alright film. There's a lot of problems, especially the DVD cover. That's not back. Oh, but I get to my reasons why this is a lot. Why this is one of the problems later. So I don't know. Up next will be our Jurassic World, which is over 2 hours long. Hopefully it is. Probably it's a little less than it was. You know. That way I could at least try and cram in the second Indiana Jones movie. My Cybermaster channel. This is not based off anything. It's the original concept created by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. So it goes on my main channel, Cybermaster. Well, that's not my main channel, but that's why I review regular films and TV, like Star Wars and stuff. So I bought this off Amazon. Unlike the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I just bought on a whim to eventually watch, see if I like or not. The way it took, obviously, if you don't know, The Hobbit was the first book by Tolkien, released all the way back in the 1930s. Over 2 decades before The Lord of the Rings book came out. Well, I think some of the stuff added was help tie it into the story more. No. Luckily, there's a YouTuber who covers what's different. There's a channel that dedicates itself to covering the difference between books and the adaptations. So he's usually called Dominic Noble, and the series is called Lost in Adaptation. It's a really good series too. It'd be like if you're a fan of books, if you're a fan of some films that are based on books, I want to know what the difference is if you ever want to start reading them. So, recently the Snow White film came out, and it was a bomb, as I predicted. I mean, come on, my mom has bad taste in it too. She wants to see a film like that. She thought The Little Mermaid 2020 was good. Everyone's out of her opinion, but really? There's a lot of problems with that film, and she thought it was good. Anyway, I better just get this review so I can move on to the next film, Indiana Jones, Jurassic World from 2015. So let's get into it. Story also a narration about a kingdom called Erebor, led by Raw. It's a kingdom of dwarfs. One day, the king's greed got the best of him when they were attacked by a dragon named Smog. It had taken over the castle, forcing the dwarfs to flee. The elves with it showed up too, but did not help, only to serve their own kin. Because the dragon Smog is dangerous. And of course, his Thorin's grandson, Thorin, will forever dislike the elves. We cut. As this has all been. Actually, this film starts with Bilbo. This has all been written down by Bilbo. Writing the story down for Frodo to see where he ran down his adventure. He's played by Ian. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he actor passed away in 2020, so he was still alive at the time this film came out in 2012. And I say, I think it was I'm watching this film. Yeah, I think it's a smart move to watch this before the Lord of the Rings. Because you can watch the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, yes. You can watch it there. But this gives actually a lot more context. And plus, gives you introduction to these characters. And gives you a brief introduction to the character of Frodo before you officially get to know him in the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'll get to that bit. Yeah. Hey, as we get appearance from Frodo in the story. I do like his interaction with Bilbo. Because they didn't really interact much in the first film, in the original film, did they? Or towards the end. Bilbo was much older. In 4 years. Don't question it. I don't fucking know. Wait. No, I'm confused with man. Bilbo. Anyway, judge my dialogue from Frodo and Bilbo. This portion of the story for this scene where so the time when Bilbo's writing the story, it's right before he writes during the events of the first film. Actually, right at the start, mentioning the party. And I fear, Inca, the third film will end with a knock on the door, which will be similar to start off the next adventure, as one journey ends, another begins. Symbolism. I don't know. I'm not seeing the trilogy again. This is my first time watching them. So anyway, Frodo says he's gonna surprise Gandalf. Anyway, Bilbo continues his story as we get a good transition to the past as he goes sit outside and smoke. Alright, Frodo's once given played by Elijah Wood, who was an American actor, but does a pretty good English accent. So the films are filmed in Ireland, which is quite interesting, as the author is British. But Ireland is not a bad place to film for stuff like that, and medieval fantasies. It works with the lush green fields. Ireland is a perfect place, actually. I've never been, though. I mean, we won't really need a plane to go there, will we? Anyway, we transition into the past 60 years ago, as we once again meet Gandalf the Grey, once again played by Ian McKellen, and a younger Bilbo, played by Martin Freeman. Now, Freeman's done a lot of works with some people from... But 2 years after this film came out, he was in a critically acclaimed TV show, Sherlock, alongside Benedict Cumberbatch, the one who played Doctor Strange in the MCU. Freeman's done other acting. I don't know what about. I'm not really that familiar with some of those roles. It seems to be an interesting connection with Doctor Who, though. I'll get that later. This is a bit of direction. Oh, Gandalf, so. But this Bilbo has no clue why his old wizard told him. He has sword heard of Gandalf, but he's a more fireworks guy. Gandalf ain't known for fireworks. Obviously, it's a call to adventure, which Bilbo does not want, and just goes back in his home. Sometimes, seeing Gandalf sees something knock on the door. Late that night, Bilbo gets a knock on the door and dwarves start showing up. Led by none other than Thorin Oakenshield, the grandson of the king, Thorn. Sorry. So, these doors aren't really important. Other than The other doors aren't important. I am not joking. Like, They don't have any defining character traits. They're just the comic reliefs. Boring. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the names. We have Dwalin, Balin, Philly, Killy, Dory, Nori, Ori, Oin, Gloin, Beefer, Boga. Oh, I think I missed. I think I did that one wrong. And Bomba. That was a nice fucking rhyme. So, yeah, no familiar. There aren't really any familiar characters as well, other than Gandalf and Bilbo, who isn't technically familiar because he's a different actor playing the younger version. Most of the actors aged quite a bit since the first film, though, which makes sense. The first one came out all the way back in 2001. This was 11 years later in 2012. So, obviously, some actors were aged. So, yeah, I can understand that. Elijah Wood, something weird though. Gandalf looks strangely slightly different. I don't know why it is, but compared to the original film, he looks somewhat different. Not in I mean, he looks the same. It's hard to explain, okay? It's just hard to explain. Like, everything about his clothes looks the same. It's just, it seems, it's just, you know, never mind. It's just hard for me to explain. Anyway, after that, oh, shows up. Bill's not happy, but they're all here for a meeting. Basically, the mission is to take down back the Kingdom of Erebor from the Dragon Smog. But it's a dangerous mission. And that's why Gandalf needs a Hobbit like Bill. Well, Bilbo refuses to go on the mission. Well, the next morning everyone's gone. It's relief, but ends up thinking about Gandalf's offer again. And decides to go with them on an adventure to catch up with them. They head off on their journey. It's just a lot of boring crap. I'm not all that invested. Thorin is the only developed character in this film. Not properly developed, but he's the only developed character in this damn film. Bilbo is kind of as well, as he learns to start adventuring. They journey across. We end up learning that the dwarves of Aragorn try to take another place, but go to another kingdom, but it was overrun by orcs, their enemies. They battle so hard. In the end, though, Frodo is beheaded, killed. And his son, Thran II, is not disappeared, leaving only Thorin left to be the rightful heir. I mean, next day as a gentleman, Gandalf and Thrawn and again argument about asking help from the elves. This is my friend. It's about Albangia. Gandalf just storming off somewhere. So they expect to stop the camp for the night, but they all get captured by trolls, with Bilbo trying his best to save everyone by talking. But luckily Gandalf comes in to save the day. Yeah. Everyone's confidence is there. And after that, they head to the Elven Kingdom, where they meet a familiar face for those who watched the original trilogy. That is the character of Elrond. Oh my, mind you, was there during the battle against Sauron. So, oh, pardon me. Sorry, not remembering much about this film. It's just not that interesting. Dwarves are not interesting characters. I'm not joking. Like, the personalities are not defined. That's why not even on the fucking cover of the DVD. Actually, I was seen they were attacked by some orcs, but killed by elves. Gandalf and Elrond, Thorin's still distrustful. After being the plan to him, will do. He's obviously against it. It's dangerous. Thorin's just a stubborn dwarf. Anyway, Gandalf's taken up to meet the Queen of the Elves. I think she is. She's all the tough. It's like she was the one we met before Boromir's betrayal. Yes, his name was Boromir. That was my fault. I apologize for getting that wrong. I suppose no one corrected me, but I apologize for getting that wrong. I was getting the characters mixed up. I was getting his brother mixed up somehow. So I'll come back to this film. I'll try my best to write down the characters' names again so I can properly remember them. Try my best to pay attention. Hopefully. Anyway, so you get appearance by Solomon the Wise. Was going to play by Christopher Lee. Oh, actually, early on, they actually ran into another person. A sorcerer, I think his name was Radagast. And you know who he's played by? Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor. I know, I was surprised too. Like, when I first saw him on screen, he looked familiar. I didn't know his name, so even when I searched it up on the cast, until they said his name, I didn't know who he was. So looking at his name, I found Sylvester McCoy. I don't even know how he got to be in a film based on the Lord of the Rings. You know, it's not. Well, you get what I mean. Again, he has been. I don't know what other roles he's been doing after Doctor Who. He was in Doctor Who from 1988 to 1989, I think. No, I think it was from 1987, maybe. I think he only was around for a year, I don't know. But the only film I know he was in was Doctor Who in the movie in the 90s. And that one didn't do too well. Amazing to see the guy in the movie. That's when they were attacked by the orcs and he tried to lead them away. So anyway, back to the realm. Salvo's obviously against this for a lot of reasons. But the dwarfs have already left. What's on the mountain? Very dangerous. They're all lucky to survive. And Thorin doesn't really trust Bilbo. You know, so he's not suited for this adventure. Also, Bilbo has a sword that's like the one Frodo had. Now, it's a line from Gandalf saying that he's afraid, and Bilbo gives him confidence. Like, dude, he barely knows you. That scares me out a bit. When he talks like he's been there the whole time. If they had like interactions prior, you know, at least acquaintances, not friends, that'd be a little more better. They sort of know each other. Not fully. You get my point. Anyway, Bilbo decides to leave. And that's when our Ashma Goblins is rolling down. Well, Bilbo managed to catch her, the others didn't, and take her to the Goblin King. And take her there, and looking for an orc that wants to kill him. Bilbo ends up spotting something. A creature taking a goblin to eat. Yep, it's Smeagol, aka Gollum. Doesn't really look much different as he did in the original trilogy. Well, this was technically his. Wow. I don't know if the scene was in the original book or not. I never read the book, so obviously Tolkien did not think of the whole thing at the time. But this does set up the whole thing. Gollum didn't even know he dropped it in. So Bilbo does pick it up. And he ended up having a word game and everything. And Bilbo wins, but Gollum's a final heat that Bilbo has is precious and attacks him. And all ends with Bilbo ended up with the win on his finger. Was the invisibility thing. The dwarves are in trouble, but Gandalf comes into the rescue as they all fight off, escape the goblins. The Goblin King is killed. Let's see. Thorin still does not trust Bilbo. But Bilbo has again bad resolve now. It turns out to hide it. As the journey heads off. But they are actually ambushed by the orcs. Attacked. He's not coming out of Bow. Foreman Bell's Hobbit is seemingly killed. As in Bilbo ends up biting into was in his life. Mashed out there. I think the Orc King is still alive. I think the Orc is still alive. I don't know. Didn't pay attention. Yeah, but Thorin is still alive and gains respect for Bilbo. And well, the film ends with them fishy looking over the kingdom of Erebor. But a small scene before it gives us a glimpse of the dragon Smaug. And that was the Fellowship. That was the Unexpected Journey. Yeah, I know. I didn't pay much attention to it. Oh, I like the Lord of the Rings better. Sure, I didn't enjoy them much. I do like them, but this I don't like much compared to the original trilogy. Yeah. And I looked up the story. I looked up the whole thing about the Hobbit. It's an episodic story. Basically, a monster of the week type of thing. Every chapter, every page, every story, they come across a monster. So obviously, you had to make some things up for. Obviously, you had to try to lose the stories together for a movie. But I think a TV show would have worked for The Hobbit. You could get away with The Lord of the Rings because it is plot, not episodic. But The Hobbit isn't. You can't exactly get away with that. So I think you should have just done a TV show about it. They do know Harry Potter now. But Game of Thrones was popular. So I'm surprised they didn't try to make The Hobbit a TV show. Wait, was Game of Thrones out at the time? I should look up, actually. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy my content, please thumbs up and want to see more Square Channel Notion we do always goes future. And I eventually revisit these films in the future for a proper review. So if I do actually do that, I hope you look forward to it. Alright, thank you. I'll see you guys later. Wow. I'll see you guys next time because you probably won't be seeing the Jurassic World review till July. So, yeah. Jurassic Review's out.